Lagos, good afternoon and welcome to another exciting edition of Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV. I am your host, yes, Wisdom Chingoba is my name, aka the Principal Fin, and I'm here to serve you all the fresh updates and conversations coming from the world of football. As the name of the show implies, Football Domain. So it means our focus on today's show is just going to be football related conversations. Yes, I've got interesting updates coming from the local scene, that is, I mean the Nigerian league, as well as other things pertaining the national team as well as the Super Falcons, and different conversations. And then we have some conversations coming from the global scene that's talking about Europe and every other aspect. So it's a bumper package on today's show, so you definitely don't want to miss any single bit of the show. So don't go anywhere. We're going to go on a very tiny bit of break, and once we get back, we'll be going straight into our conversation. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a bit. Alright, Lagos, once again, welcome back. You're still listening to Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV, and I remain your host, Wisdom Chumuba, aka the Principal Fin. And so before we went on that very quick break, I said we had a lot to discuss about on today's show. So without further ado, we'll be going straight to our first conversation of the day, and we would be talking about the MPFL. Yes, the MPFL season is set to resume next month. So the fixtures have been released for match day one. After we saw Rangers International being crowned the champions of the MPFL last season. They finished with 70 points from 38 games and winning a record 8 NPFL title under Fidelity Lechuku, who led them to that incredible feat. So the season would be kicking off August 31st. That is talking about the new MPFL season, and the fixtures for match day one has been released, and I'm going to be reading out some of these fixtures for you to have an idea of what match day one would look like, so you can begin to shape your mind and prepare for it. Although some of the clubs are having their preseason friendlies at this stage, while some are still resting, but nonetheless the MPFL is starting to make plans. All of these by the MPFL as well as the NFF is to ensure that the Nigerian league is in sync with the global football calendar, and to ensure that it doesn't get to clash with our own football, so we can all get to enjoy it together. So I'm talking about the fixtures for match day one. We have Abia Warriors taking on Remo Stars, and then we have Beyond Limits, the newly promoted side from the NNL, will be taking on 9 times MPFL champion, that is Eimba. And then we have the champions of the MPFL, Rangers International, taking on newly promoted side as well, El Kanemi Warriors, who won the FA Cup last season. So that is almost like a community shield kind of thing, if you have to put it that way. And then we have Lobby Stars taking on Aqua United. We have Kwara United, who we are going to be talking about on today's show, because they seem to be doing, I wouldn't want to say doing too much, but there's something interesting about them doing the overhauling of the entire squad. But that will be a conversation later on today's show. But moving on, Kwara United will be taking on Niger Tornadoes, and then we have Kano Pillars taking on Ikorodu City, another newly promoted side in the MPFL. And then we have Bendel Insurance taking on Rivers United, who were underwhelming last season. They didn't really live up to the expectations and the hype of everyone last season. And then we have Sunshine Stars taking on Bayelsa United. Nasarawa United will be taking on Shooting Stars, who were impressive last season, qualifying for African, talking about the African tournament next season. I'm talking about CAF related tournaments, both for the Confederations Cup and the CAF Champions League. They finished in the top 4. And then we talk about Plateau United taking on Katsina United. So that is how it stands for match day one in the MPFL. So for those of you that really love the MPFL just like I do, this information is for you to know what to expect going into the new season, to show you that last season, really, I have to say, the MPFL was very, very interesting and thrilling to watch in terms of the number of goals scored, in terms of the performances of the teams, in terms of the score lines, the results, the goals, the officiating, the controversies. The MPFL gave us quite a whole lot for us to enjoy last season, and we hope that heading into the new season, things get to be better and you and I can get to enjoy more football from our own Nigerian league. Well, moving on, still talking about the Nigerian league, there's been an update or an improvement coming from the MPFL, and this is where I have to say kudos to the MPFL. So the prize money for the MPFL champion has been increased by the MPFL. So last season, Rangers International, who won the league, were awarded 150 million naira as the prize money for winning the MPFL. Well, guess what? There's been a top up to that, and that is heading into the new season. Talking about the 2024-2025 season, the new champions, or the champions of the 2024-2025 season, will be awarded 200 million naira. Woo! Quite an incredible amount of money. This shows the growth in the MPFL. Last season was 150 million that was awarded. Last two seasons it was lesser than that. I think around the range of 100 million, or if I'm not mistaken, 100 or something lesser than that. But last season it was 150 million, and now heading into the new season, 200 million, showing the tiny bit of improvement that we are seeing from the MPFL. So whoever gets to win the MPFL next season would be awarded the sum of 20 million naira as the prize money. So kudos to the MPFL on that. Hopefully that gets to spur the teams in the MPFL to fight harder and perform well, and also give us good football. And now, still talking about money on the show, it is Rangers International. Yes, it looks like they will be getting that 200 million naira even this season. Why do I say so? Because their governor has chosen to award them 50 million naira for winning the MPFL. That is quite outstanding. Yes, Enugu Rangers, their governor, awarded them 50 million naira for winning the MPFL, and this came after he had like a dinner with the players after they won the league, and he made one or two promises to them while awarding them the 50 million naira. So after getting 150 million for winning the league, they get 50 million from the governor. Not just the 50 million naira alone, they get non-cash gifts as well from the governor. So Peter Amba, the governor of Enugu State, deciding to award the players. In a statement, he said, "We are indeed very proud of you. I cannot tell you enough what this MPFL title that you have brought right here before us represents and means to us. Rangers International transcends generations." Yes, he said it is a unifying factor for us. It is not just about winning a trophy or about making us proud. It is putting Enugu State in the hearts and minds of the people of this country and beyond. So those are just tiny bits of the statement that he said. He also concluded by saying, let me assure you that we will never get tired of supporting you. If anything, we are going to double down and reinforce our support. Those are the words of the governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Amba, when he awarded the Rangers players 50 million naira for winning the MPFL. So guys, that is it for the MPFL. And still talking about the MPFL, because I said we're starting from the local scene, and I'm giving you updates coming from the world of football in the local scene. I don't want to keep on using the word local scene, because when I use the word local scene, it makes it sound, like our football is local. But hey, it's our own, it's our league. The Nigerian league is ours. So I think I'm probably gonna have to look for a better synonym to replace the word local. But it is our league. Still talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League, or the Nigerian Premier Football League, as some would like to call it. Kwara United Yes, I said we are going to have a tiny bit of conversation about them because they have chosen to sack 22 players and have brought in 23 new players. That is what's the word to describe it? Will I say an absurd move, or I don't really know the right word to use? But let me just give you a bit of insight into that story. As Kwara United, who finished 13th last season, surprisingly, I decided to sack 22 players last. The players that ended the season with them, and they decided to bring in 23 top stars from the MPFL season heading into the new season. So the general manager of the club, Bashir Badawi, disclosed this on Monday, saying that 23 stars, top stars from the MPFL, has been added to the squad, while 22 have been dismissed. They also added that top quality players have agreed to join the team. He mentioned some players like Abayomi Samuel from 3SC, Jimmy Iteji from Plateau United, even some of the goalkeepers, as well as from the national team. That's talking about the under 17, under 20, under 23. He mentioned quite some players, and he also called on players to eschew indiscipline. So I really, this is one that I would really love to hear your opinion on this one. Choosing to offload an entire squad, heading into a new season, just bringing in new crop of players, 23 different players, and how do you expect them to perform heading into the new season? These players don't know each other from literally anywhere. It's the first time they would be playing together, and we'll talk about the manager having to work with different sets of player. Well, I wonder what you make of this. You can do well to just drop your comments wherever you're streaming live on. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're also streaming live on Facebook at CTV Live. That is the handle for you. So you can do well to drop your comments there and tell me what you think of this conversation about Kwara United offloading or sacking 22 players just to bring in 23 more to start in the new season due to the fact that they didn't perform well last season. I wonder what you make of this conversation. For me, I find it kind of absurd doing that, but I get to say, to air my point of view. You also get the chance to do yours, so you can do well to drop your comment wherever you're streaming from, either Facebook or YouTube, and as the show goes on, I would do well to read it. So the statement of the general manager of Kwara United says, and I quote, "Our expectation in the 2024-2025 MPFL season is to finish among top 3. We don't want to struggle again. Check our records in the last 2 seasons. We were among the top 4 and even qualified for Continental," he said. That is the statement from the Kwara United general manager Bashir Badawi. But that is that for Kwara United choosing to offload an entire squad. My goodness, I don't want to dwell on that conversation anymore. So moving on. We are going to go on a break very shortly, but before we go on that break, let me conclude from the national team, or with the national team, where the Super Falcons of Nigeria would be taking on the current or the reigning Olympic champions in Canada. Yes, that game would be going down today, to be precise, by 5:30. That would be an indoor, a closed a closed door match. Is an indoor match, closed door, indoor, wherever word you choose to call it. That will be going down today by 5:30. Canada, that is talking about the female national team of Canada. They are the reigning champions of the Olympics. They won it back in Tokyo in 2020, and Nigeria would be facing them as their final step for the preparation of the Paris Olympics 2024. The players have been training in Seville, that is Spain. That's talking about Super Falcons, but they get to come up against the reigning champions of the Olympics in Canada today by 5:30. So hopefully we get to perform in that one, just to give the ladies bit of confidence heading into the Paris Olympics. Our group, that group is definitely the group of death, where we get to face the likes of Spain, Japan and Brazil in that group. That's talking about Group C. So hopefully the Super Falcons get to perform and make us proud. So we are going to go on a very quick break. Once we come back from that break, we'll be moving over to Europe, where we've got some interesting conversations. We all know that the Euros ended during the weekend, as well as the Copa America. But the team of the tournament have been released by UEFA, and I wonder what you make of that team of the tournament. So when we come back from this break, this and a whole lot more we will be talking about. So don't go anywhere. You're still listening to Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV, in the good company of the principal thing, Wisdom Chimoba. We'll be back in a bit. Alright, Lagos, once again, welcome back. You are still listening to Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV. I remain your host, Wisdom Chingoba, aka the Principal Thing, giving you all of the fresh updates and the interesting conversations coming from the world of football. Well, if you're just joining us for the first time, this show is sponsored by the Adama Sule Foundation. So back to our conversation, I said we would be moving over to Europe as soon as we got back from the break, where the team of the tournament for the Euro 2024 has been released by UEFA. And I would be reading out that team of the tournament for you, and I wonder what you make of this team of the tournament, if you agree or you disagree, if you think some players ought to make it to this list, and if you think some players in the list are not meant to be included. So starting from the goalkeeping department, we have Mike Magnon of France, who had the highest clean sheets in the tournament, surprisingly. Despite the fact that they got to the semi-final, where they got knocked out by Spain 2-1, and the goals that they considered against Spain were the only goals he considered in the tournament for open play. So well deserved for Mike Magnon. And then moving over to the back four, we have Kyle Walker in right back, the only English player to make it to the team of the tournament. Kyle Walker for England, the 30-year plus defender, the right back. And then we have Manuel Akonji of Switzerland, his fellow Man City teammate, and Kyle Walker there with him. And then we have William Saliba for France as well. And then there's Marc Cucurella, who won the Euro 2024 with Spain. Won the Euro 2024 with Spain. It was very crucial for Spain in this tournament. I really have to add that. Very crucial for Spain, in left back, while Dani Carvajal on the right doing some incredible job for Spain. But Cucurella was impressive in the tournament, so well deserved for Marc Cucurella. And then moving over to the midfield, where it's a midfield trio of Fabian Ruiz, Dani Olmo, and Rodri for Spain. Rodri, we all know how crucial he is for the Spanish national team. Fabian Ruiz as well, he had a very impressive tournament. And for Dani Olmo, well deserved to be in that list, the top scorer of the tournament, joint top scorer, because he ended with 3 goals, Harry Kane 3 goals, and the line, and Cody Gakpo and some other players as well. So well deserved for him. And moving up, we have Jamal Musiala, Nico Williams, and Lamine Yamal. For Lamine Yamal, not too much expansion on him, because we know how brilliant he was in the tournament. Young player of the tournament, well deserved for him. I think he had the highest assist as well. Literally the standout player for me in the tournament. And then we have Nico Williams on the other side, that is talking about the left. Very brilliant and impressive as well. And Jamal Musiala up front, another fantastic wonder kid. So that is that for the team of the tournament as released by UEFA. And I wonder what you make of this team of the tournament. Do you agree with UEFA? Do you think some players included to this team did not deserve to be there? Or do you think like, okay, yes, these players performed well, but a certain player ought to have been added to this list? while this other person should have been removed. You can also do well to drop your comments where we're streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube CTV Live. That is the handle for you. Now, still talking on matters as it concerns Europe and Euros, we'll be talking about a certain person that has chosen to quit his role as the manager of the English national team. Ad is talking about Gareth Southgate. He has decided to retire, or resign rather, as the coach of the English national team. Gareth Southgate, after failing, to lift the Euros with England again, after taking them to, back-to-back finals, he decided to resign as the manager of the English national team. Well, for starters, I have to say, Gareth Southgate, this is just my own personal opinion, England's best manager in a very long while. He was appointed back in 2016. England reached, their first World Cup semi-final in 28 years in 2018, and all of these was under Gareth Southgate. Their first major final in 55 years at Euro 2020, also during his tenure. So for you to appoint someone that will be able to replicate that for England, I think is one that is very, very difficult. But let me just give you a bit of insight into Gareth Southgate's tenure, so you can have an idea as to his highs and lows and the achievements he was able to accomplish while he was England manager. So in September 2016, Gareth Southgate was appointed as England manager. And then in July 2018, England reached the World Cup semi-finals for the first time in 28 years, but they lost that semi-finals 2-1 to Croatia. That was the first time England got to a World Cup semi-final, and that was under the tenure of Gareth Southgate. Now, back in June 2019, England reached the semi-finals of the inaugural Nations League, but lost 3-1 to the Netherlands as well. And then in July 2021, England also reached the final of the Euros for the first time, but lost to Italy 1-1. Lost to Italy after ending the match 1-0. Lost to Italy via penalties, where Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho were victims of racism and racial abuse and all of that. That is also another conversation we'll be having on the show. But moving on, back in September 2022 as well, England got relegated from the top tier of the Nations League after failing to win any of their 6 matches. That was one of the poorest record of Gareth Southgate as England manager. But in December 2022, England also got knocked out of the World Cup by France in the quarter-finals as well. But in July 2024, that is talking about the just concluded Euros, England reached the Euro 2024 final with a dramatic knockout win over Slovakia, Switzerland and the Netherlands, but lost to Spain in the final 2-1. So for Gareth Southgate, the first England manager to take England to 2 major finals back to back. Now, really, a whole lot of people have been saying that this would make it more difficult for whoever gets to replace Gareth Southgate. Well, let me just give you, let me read out a statement from Gareth Southgate for you. It's quite a lengthy one, but I would shorten it as much as possible. So, Gareth Southgate said, as a proud Englishman, it has been the honor of my life to play for England and to even manage England. It has meant everything to me, and I have given it my all, but it's time for change and for a new chapter. Sunday's final in Berlin against Spain was my final game as England manager. I joined the FA in 2011. Determined to improve English football. In that time, including 8 years as England's men's manager, I have been supported by some brilliant people who have had my heartfelt thanks. Moving over to the concluding part, he said, we have the best fans in the world, and their support has meant the world to me. I am an England fan, and I will always be. I look forward to watching and celebrating as the players go on to create more special memories and to connect and inspire the nation as we know they can. Thank you, England, for everything. So those are the words of Gareth Southgate after resigning from his role as England manager. Now, we all know. I've read out, some of the achievements of Gareth Southgate, and looking at the standards he has set, I wonder the conversations that have been flying around, or the reports and rumors that have been flying around for his possible replacement, is the likes of Eddie Howe and Graham Potter. And I'm wondering, Eddie Howe and Graham Potter, these men, in terms of club football, they haven't really had the best of managerial stints, especially the likes of, especially Graham Potter to be precise. He had a very good stint with Brighton, but went to Chelsea and, will I say, was a menace to himself and the club. It was chaotic, but it was a very abysmal turnout of performance under Graham Potter when he was at Chelsea. And then look at Eddie Howe with Newcastle. His first season back with Newcastle, they performed well, qualified for the Champions League, but the second season, they didn't even make it to Europe. And these are the two men, in the FA shortlist. That's talking about the English FA shortlist to replace Gareth Southgate. Now we need to have at the back of our mind that whoever gets to replace Gareth Southgate, the bare minimum for you is getting to the final of the Euros. Now Southgate has been unfortunate not to lift a single trophy despite getting to two major finals, a major semi-final and also a major quarter-final. So it means that whoever gets to come in, the minimum you get to achieve is even making it to a final. And I wonder if you think either Graham Potter or Eddie Howe can even take England to a major final or even a semi-final. England, their fixtures for their upcoming fixtures seem to be quite an interesting one. That is talking about the Nations League, because they need to appoint a new manager before the Nations League starts. So September 7, when the Nations League would go on, they would be taking on the Republic of Ireland at home, that is in England, and then they would take on Finland, they will take on Greece as well. So those are the three countries they would be taking on. So September 7, they would take on the Republic of Ireland. September 10, Finland. October and 10, they will be taking on Greece, and they go back in that same circle: Finland, Greece, and Republic of Ireland. So that is that for Gareth Southgate and England. So you can do well to drop your comments and tell me what you make of Gareth Southgate choosing, to resign as England manager, and whoever gets to replace him, what do you think should be the minimum standard for that person? Now we would in a bit concluding the show, but before that, I said we're going to talk about racism, and this has to do with Enzo Fernandez. Now, after Argentina won the Copa America just during the weekend, Enzo Fernandez and the other Argentinian players, while they were celebrating in the bus, Enzo Fernandez was streaming live on Instagram, and they were having a good time singing, and it got to a part where they were singing a certain song that had a bit of quotes as per se, yes, some racist quotes. So I will try to read that for you if I can get one or two things from it. But Enzo Fernandez, nonetheless, he has come out to apologize. I really don't want to go into details reading out the meaning of what they were singing, because they were singing the song in Argentine rather. I don't want to go out reading the meaning of the lyrics, but it had something to do with saying your father is Cameroonian, your mother is Angolan or Nigerian, but in your passport you are French, something like that. And the French Football Federation has decided to take Argentina to court, surprisingly, for this. But Enzo Fernandez has come out to apologize, and let me read his statement for you. That's talking about Enzo Fernandez. He said, "I want to apologize sincerely for a video posted on my Instagram channel during the national team celebrations. The song includes highly offensive language, and there is absolutely no excuse for these words. I stand against discrimination in all forms and apologize for getting caught up in the euphoria of our Copa America celebrations. That video, that moment, those words do not reflect my beliefs or my character. I am truly sorry. Those are the words of Enzo Fernandez, while apologizing after that video surfaced online of them singing some racist chants after defeating France in the 2018 World Cup. They sang that song as a then, but it wasn't. No one really looked into it this way. But now that it's sufficed again, they have decided to act, and the whole footballing world. Though it's been a bit of a mixture. While some are saying, "Hey, I don't see this as racist." I think the larger populace are saying what Enzo Fernandez has done is racism, and there's been a back and forth, but nonetheless, Enzo Fernandez is out to clear the air and he's out to apologize. So that is that for that. So we are going to go for one more final break, and once we come back, we will conclude the show while I get to give you updates for some players that have decided to call it quits in their career. Just wait on to find out. We'll be back in a bit. Alright, Lagos, once again, welcome back. You're still listening to Football Domain on your number one online television channel, CTV. Well, I remain your host, Wisdom Chinwoba, aka the Principal Fan. I've been giving you fresh updates and interesting conversations coming from the world of football. It's time for us to draw our curtains on the show. I've had time dishing out incredible and fantastic information for you, but I'm just going to do a recap of all the things that we've spoken about on the show. But before I do that, I need to remind you that a certain legend, German legend in Thomas Muller, has decided to retire from football with immediate effect. Thomas Muller, who has played for Germany, spent his entire career playing for FC Bayern Munich, and now he has decided to retire from the national team as well as football in general. Thomas Muller, 34 years of age, he played in the Euros as well. But was unfortunate that Germany were not able to go all the way, but he has decided to retire from football with immediate effect. And speaking about another player who chose to retire, but this time not in football general, Toni Kroos, by the way, has also retired from football. Also a German, Toni Kroos, but that was earlier. Angel Di Maria has retired from the Argentinian national team. Angel Di Maria and Nicolas Otamendi, both players, have retired from the Argentine national team after winning the Copa America. Angel Di Maria still has one more season to play with Benfica, and then he gets to make up his mind if he wants to, hang up his boots, or if he still wants, to go for one last dance. But he has retired from the national team. Same with Nicolas Otamendi. While a certain Angel Di Maria is choosing to retire from the national team, Luka Modric has chosen to renew his contract with Real Madrid. That is breaking news coming from the Santiago Bernabeu. Luka Modric has decided to extend his contract with Real Madrid spanning to 2025. So he signed a one-year deal to keep him at the club till 2025, coming from the camp of Luka Modric. So Modric, still wearing the number 10 shirt, would be at the Santiago Bernabeu with Real Madrid next season. And it's no longer breaking news. Just to remind you that Kylian Mbappe is officially now a Real Madrid player. Was unveiled yesterday at the Santiago Bernabeu with 85,000 fans there to witness his unveiling. He would be putting on the number 9 jersey. Normally, he would have gone for the number 10, but according to Kylian Mbappe, he said, out of respect for Luka Modric, who has just renewed his contract, like I said earlier, who is putting on the number 10 jersey, he said he chose not to request for it out of respect for Modric. So Modric, 38 years old, has renewed his contract while Kylian Mbappe unveiled by Real Madrid. So that is that. I don't have any transfer updates for you today because it's a bit of rumors here and there, but hopefully next time on the show there will be transfer updates. Hopefully your clubs and also my own club would have completed some transfer. Hey, I'm a United fan. United really going hard and strong this season, but we would not be talking Manchester United on the show today. So just to give you a wrap of everything that we've spoken about on the show, we started the show talking about the MPFL season. That's talking about the 2024-2025 season. The March Day 1 fixtures released. The season will be starting August 31st. That is talking about the 2024-2025 season starting August 31st. So the March Day 1 fixtures have been released. We spoke about that. We also spoke about the MPFL increasing the prize money for next season to 200 million from 150 million. I also reminded you that while money is in the air, Rangers will be collecting an extra 50 million from their governor for winning the league. And then Kwara United choosing to offload 22 players from their squad last season and refreshing it with 23 new players. And the Super Falcons would be taking on Olympic champions, reigning Olympic champions Canada, by 5:30 p.m. today. And then we spoke about the Euros team of the tournament, Gareth Southgate choosing to resign as England manager. And then we spoke about Enzo Fernandez and his issues with racism. By the way, some of his Chelsea teammates, talking about Enzo Fernandez, has unfollowed him on social media. The likes of Wesley Fofana has unfollowed him from social media. Not just only him, about 2 or 3 of his teammates has unfollowed him on social media, and they've also reacted to the videos by Enzo Fernandez, who has come out to apologize. I read out his apology earlier on the show, and then we concluded the show, or we are concluding the show with this little updates I gave you coming from the side of Thomas Muller and Luka Modric. So guys, that is the size of the package of today's show. I've had a good time dishing out all of this information to you, and I know that you on the other side as well have had a good time listening to me. So before I go, do not forget Proverbs 4 verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And in all that I get in, please do not forget, get understanding. For now, I say goodbye. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. I still remain your one and only host, Wisdom Chumuba, aka the principal thing, hoping to catch you next time. Okay, so guys, you have a very beautiful rest of the weekend. Goodbye.